Hello? You're 32 dating a 23-year-old and you're going to have them do your taxes the first time you meet them? Brother. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, we are going to be talking about Molly Rudder, who is pretty popular on TikTok. Now, she used to be a teacher overseas. I don't think she's a teacher anymore. I think she does full-time content creation on TikTok now, and she's been getting pretty popular because she actually makes a lot of content about her dating life, and some of that content is a little strange for some people. They have some problems with it, and we're gonna get into some of the maybe like double standards and just some of the issues that she's had with the dating world. One of the things that were happening pretty frequently is these dates obviously wouldn't go well, which I think is its own thing. If you're a content creator whose most of your profile is about the fact that you're going on dates, I mean, it's kind of like, it's almost bad in business to end up in a good relationship because then all of your content is now no longer, but that's besides the point. But people were starting to notice that a lot of these dates didn't go well, and they were curious as to why. Molly's had a few videos that have gone viral, and we are going to be going over one that has been deleted. Rachel put together a little bit of an edit because a lot of the video is, you know, it's very long, a lot of it's unnecessary. So we're going to go over the important parts of this video, and then we're going to get into what is happening right now, which is very interesting, and I'm genuinely very curious what other people think about this because I'm not sure if everyone's going to agree with me. This is the now deleted TikTok where Molly kind of chronicles an experience where she ends up getting ghosted. You know, for those of you guys that aren't, you know, hip and cool like me, that don't know what that means, it's basically when someone just disappears, they don't reply to you at all. So she kind of shares that whole experience, and yeah, let's just go ahead and see what she has to say.
I think I have a date tomorrow, my first date in Buffalo. Homeboy is gonna help me do my taxes, and we're gonna get some beer.
Okay, first thing, he's gonna help me do my taxes is crazy for a first time meeting. Like, I don't know. That is not something I would want to do the first time I'm meeting someone.
Okay, sounds fun. And he ghosted. The last time we texted was 3 p.m. Plan was to meet up at 5 or 6 p.m.
Again, the thing that's crazy about this is that she is now sharing texts from this person that she literally never even met yet. Like, that's, I don't know, that's unhinged to me, man.
When I was done with my nap. So we texted at 3 when I woke up from my nap, and then I texted him again at 4:45 saying I was getting in the shower to get ready. And he hasn't answered me. And it's now like 5:30, so obviously we're not going on this date. This would have been my first date, being back in the States, and my first date in a while, actually. I don't think I've been on a date since like November. Genuinely excited about this date. He looked cute. We had good conversation. I hate dating in this generation. You know, maybe it was my mistake because he was very young. I'm 32 years old and he was 23.
I am 32 years old and he is 23. Now, I know the argument is going to be like, you know, as long as they're over 18, it's fine. I am 32. And the thought of dating a 23-year-old, and then on top of it, having that 23-year-old do my taxes? Hello? Come on. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason this video was deleted, because people were saying, hello, you're 32 dating a 23-year-old and you're going to have them do your taxes the first time you meet them? Brother, come on. Like, this is, I see stuff like this and I'm like, am I the one that's crazy? It's surely not.
And he did a very 23-year-old thing. And to be fair, though, anyone who's even my age or older could still do the exact same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that could happen. But also, maybe the chances are less if you date someone that's around your age. This doesn't make bizarre.
Exactly, Bo. Exactly. Plot twist. Homeboy just fell asleep. So now, while I was waiting for him, I made other plans to meet up with Morgan and bring my dogs to a dog-friendly bar. He's still gonna meet me there. I can't keep up with this stuff. I have food on my face. Dating is exhausting. Let's go, boys. I'm excited to bring my dogs on this date. I'm happy it's working out. Originally, he was gonna help me do my taxes. He's a finance bro, but I realized I'm just gonna file for an extension because my taxes are a bit confusing this year, being that some of my income is from Turkey and TikTok. I'm just gonna file.
Yeah, I mean, and you're maybe meeting this person for the first time, so maybe doing your taxes with them is not a good idea.
For an extension tomorrow. But it's nice to know. I mean, if this works out with him, maybe he can help me out with my finances. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Wish us luck. I feel cute for my date. This is a date I'm not nervous for. People just give you a vibe that they're gonna be chill, like no matter how it goes. So I'm optimistic about this date, so I'm not really that nervous.
It's so funny, all of this stuff, like, oh, I'm optimistic, and then the next clip is her being like devastated and saying like, I knew he wouldn't be good, and it's just like, come on, man.
I definitely don't like that he's late. He said he would be here in 2 minutes, and it's been more like 15. Oh my god, I just got really scared. I saw a guy walk.
So basically, I don't think it's necessary to go over this whole video because at most of the rest of this is just her. He never shows up, right? He never ends up showing up, and she's upset about that. So that was one of the deleted TikToks. There's more. And so we're going to go over a couple of these. Nothing super crazy. We're not going to go super in depth, but this is a get ready with me to go on the scariest date of my life, right? And we're not going to watch this entire thing. But she's getting ready, and then at the very end of the video, she shows this. Her with a black eye and red and blue lights all, happening, right? And then there's this comment right here that says, do you have a black eye at the end? And then she replies, black eye and busted lip to be exact. So obviously, people are going to see that and think to themselves, oh my God, what happened, right? Well, what actually ended up happening was nothing. So all that ended up happening was she went to this haunted house, and part of her makeup was a black eye. So she basically clickbaits DV as a way to get attention, right? So again, like, she is someone that is totally fine doing really, really unhinged stuff to get attention online. Now, with that happening, obviously people have been very curious of like, how is, Molly's going on all these dates. This is something that is, all of these things are happening. And because of that, people started to be curious about her dating profiles. And that's where things kind of take a turn and things get juicy, because people started to realize that it seemed that Molly was, I guess you could call it catfishing. I've seen some people call it fat fishing, where, the photos on her dating profile were not the best representations of how she currently looks. And that's really the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be talking about. I debated whether or not I was going to show these images, but I feel like if I don't show them, it really makes it really hard for people to really get a full understanding of the whole situation. And so we're going to show these images. These are posted on Reddit. So this is her profile. And if we go and click through, right, these are the images that are posted on the profile, right? And so these are where people are leaving comments, especially on Reddit, saying, oh, now it makes sense why she's able to get all of these dates, because, these images are not a true representation of how she looks. Now, I understand with dating profiles, I get that you want to put your best foot forward, but also if the intention is that you are going to meet the person that you are, these photos that these people are seeing, I think it makes sense to have the most current photos possible. Like, obviously, if there's like a really cool event that happened a few years ago, but like if all of the photos are really old, I feel like that's not a fair representation. And to say that someone is shallow, or they are, they ghosted me for no reason, or they're terrible, all men are the worst, because they had an expectation that was put on them by the profile that they saw. And then when they meet you, it is something completely different. For them to be shamed or, be made to feel like they are inferior or they're a terrible person because they're no longer interested, I personally feel like that's wrong. Now, I understand feeling like I want to put my best foot forward, and it's hard for me to want to put an image out there that maybe I don't feel is the best representation of me. But at the same time, you have to understand, if that's what you're going to do and you're allowed to do that, you shouldn't be upset if someone does not respond in the most positive way, right? And so a lot of people have been commenting about this situation and how, you know, they feel that it's wrong that she is kind of doing this. And so this has been a back and forth that has been going on her profile a lot. And she has kind of done some responses to it. And that's this TikTok that we're going to be going over, where she is responding to basically the haters, if you want to call them that, right? So the caption is, "I may post publicly about my dating experiences, but never have I ever consented to receive thousands of opinions about my appearance on my dating profiles. Modern dating is hard enough. Leave me and my body fat alone to find love."
Something, because that's what I like to do on here. I've been thinking about how much I would love to get on the dating apps and match with people and schedule dates, but I no longer feel safe doing so. And that's because of the faceless, nameless people on Reddit. The people who screenshotted my dating profile and felt that it was a good use of their time to compare my appearance in photos to my appearance in TikTok videos, and accused me of being a catfish. Because of you, I no longer feel safe on the dating apps. And I know what some of the haters are going to be thinking. They're going to be thinking, yeah, but technically a dating profile is public, and you have a public TikTok account where you talk about dating.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say as well.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
But this is an issue of consent.
So, okay, so if this is an issue of consent, so did everyone that you have shared their, you know, their texts and all of these things, did they all consent and say, hey, let's freaking, I want you to post this to your over 100,000 followers on TikTok? Did they give you consent for that? No, right? But you can do that, and I don't, you know, I wouldn't personally do it, but you can do that, right? And so it definitely feels like she wants to have her cake and eat it too type of thing.
Because me making this video and posting it on a public platform on TikTok, that's me giving consent to receiving comments, right? Now that doesn't even necessarily mean I want comments criticizing my appearance, right? But at least you can argue that I have my comments turned on, and that then opens up to commentary, right? But in no way, shape, or form did I ever consent to my dating profile to be viewed by thousands of people.
Again, did those people consent to their texts being blasted out to hundreds of thousands of people that you decided would be a good idea, right? This argument goes both ways.
And picked apart and ridiculed. I didn't consent to that. And I would never consent to that. There's a reason why I've never shared my dating profile on my TikTok when people have asked me to. I don't want opinions about it. I don't want to hear commentary about my dating profile. The only people I want to view my profile, the only people I'm consenting to view my profile, are those who are on the dating apps, swiping right and left, having conversations and trying to make dates happen. That's what I've consented to. And so here I am now feeling super anxious because I no longer feel safe on the dating apps, and I don't know if I will ever feel safe on them again. One of the most efficient tools for modern dating has been taken away from me.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that, but at the same time, like, dude, it's just so strange to me for someone to be so upset about not being able to use dating profiles, because I mean, I have struggled to hear a single good thing about online dating in today's day and age. Everyone talks about how terrible it is and how not fun it is. I think, this is my opinion, where the reason she's so upset is because this is a big revenue source for her. And now she is afraid that she will no longer be able to make revenue off of this. I think that's the bigger issue.
That's what it feels like.
And then the reason I say that too is because every video is her horrible. Men suck. This was terrible. You know, they're always the same. They're always horrible. This is such a terrible world to live in. All these dates are horrible. To say that and then be like, oh my God, now I can't go on the dating profiles. What? You should be happy. Good. Get off of it. Doesn't seem like it's something you enjoy anyways.
And I wish I could say that I had the courage and the confidence to get back on them and not care about the Reddit haters. I can ignore the Reddit haters for a lot of things, but this one hit different. This one made me feel extremely violated, and I don't know if I will ever feel differently about it. Maybe I will over time, but as of right now, I don't. And it is very sad, and it makes me very angry.
What's crazy to me is that it's never brought up. Like it's almost impressive how she avoids the conversation of the photos that she has on there and how they are, you know, some people might find that to be a problem or feel like they are tricked. And I think it's interesting because it's one thing to be like, you know, just no longer be attracted to the person, whatever. People have problems with that and they whatever. But I think it's more than just that, because if I were to go on a date with someone and everything they had shared with me up until that point painted a picture as one person, and then I meet them and it's not that, it's not just going to be like, oh my God, this person doesn't look like how I thought they would. I feel like I was intentionally manipulated and lied to get me to this point. And that would make me very uncomfortable. I mean, I did some online dating many years ago at this point, and I had situations where something like that happened, and I remember it just felt weird. Like I felt weird about it, right? And then it's like, well, then I feel bad, like, oh man, am I a bad person because now I'm not interested? And you know, these are situations that people are put in. But the thing that is so frustrating to me and what is like blows my mind is that it's like she just doesn't even acknowledge it, and like that it could be a problem that someone could feel that way. That's what I really don't understand here.
I'm really angry about it. And so to all of the lovely people of Reddit, to you I would say, if you continue to participate in conversations where you are criticizing my appearance in photos compared to my appearance on TikTok, to that I will say congratulations for participating in a conversation that perpetuates really shallow views of people's bodies in relation to dating. Congratulations for participating in a conversation where you are violating another person for something they did not consent to. Congrats. I hope you feel good about yourself.
Again, like I did not consent to this. I don't know. It's just rich coming from her because her whole profile, so much of her profile is sharing conversations that these people don't know are going to be on TikTok. Like, it's just rich hearing that, being that upset about it when half of your content is based on sharing people's information that I'm assuming did not say, oh, you feel that I was treated you terribly and you want to blast me on social media? Yeah, I consent to that. Go right ahead. Please feel free. I highly doubt that happens.
Because here's the thing. Let's just say you're right. Even if you are right, who cares? Like, do you really think I care about having a few photos on a dating app where I have less body fat than I have now? Do you really?
Clearly you don't care. That's not the problem. The problem is not you not caring. The problem is you not being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and be like, how could they be so shallow? When all the photos are of a certain time where you looked very different, for them to no longer be interested when they see you, I feel like that's like, it's one thing to be like, you know what, it is a bummer. But then to be like, but you know, it is what it is. I understand. That's what I get. Or that's one of the things that will happen if I were to put these photos on. If instead maybe I put more recent photos, I would be able to not feel anxious and worried about these things, right? One thing whenever I would go on a few dates, before anything ever got crazy, I would always make sure the person knew that I was very overweight at one point and that I had lost a lot of weight, and that means I have loose skin. Because the fear for me of like something happening, my shirt getting taken off, and then being like, what the frick, you know? That was terrifying to me. So I wanted to let the person know as soon as like it made sense, right? Obviously, I'm not going to be like, "Hey, it's nice to meet you. My name's John, and I have, my nipples are down to my stomach." Like I'm not going to do that. But like, it took a little bit of time. But I just don't get how she just doesn't see how that could be a problem, and how someone that isn't interested, how that doesn't just mean that they're a terrible person,
I think that that's like a concern of mine. Genuinely, I'm wondering. Because I think so highly of myself that so many other things cross my mind when I think about how I'm presenting myself to the dating world. Like in those photos where I have less body fat, I'm thinking, oh my God, I look so cute. I love my outfit. I look like I'm having so much fun, and I'm there with my dogs. I want to represent that on my dating profile. And I'll be damned if I ever go on a date with someone who sees a few photos where I'm thinner and then sees me in person and thinks, oh my God, she's a catfish. I never want to date her again. Oh my God, if I ever encounter someone like that, please, I hope they run for the hills. And who knows, maybe I already have encountered people like that.
Yeah, you probably have, right? And they were no longer interested. That doesn't make them a terrible person. That doesn't make them some evil person. That means that they saw something that they enjoyed, that they liked, that they were interested in. And then when they got to the next portion of the relationship, they realized, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time. And maybe some of them have ghosted you. I'm sure that hurts your feelings, but I'm sure they didn't want to message be like, hey, I thought you looked a different way and you look completely different. Like, I understand not wanting to have that conversation. So if you want to avoid these situations, I feel like the easiest thing to do is be like, you know what? Let me put some more recent photos on this dating profile so you can avoid this whole situation. It's so easy to avoid all of this, but it feels like she's intentionally not wanting to do that, right? And so this is an 8-minute TikTok. I don't think we need to watch the whole thing because there's a video where she goes into it again, and spoiler, she still doesn't get it, and it's unbelievably frustrating. I'm sorry. I am more heated in this video than I thought it would be, but stuff like this is just so annoying to me. So this video is from her YouTube channel where she has like a podcast, and she talks about tons of different things, but there's a little portion of this podcast where she goes into basically this same exact topic. And again, it's just, well, you'll see.
Like, seriously, the catfishing thing, I still genuinely do not understand why people find that to be such a big deal. Like, let's just say I agreed with these people, right? Let's just say I completely agreed that I have been catfishing people online by misrepresenting how I look. Let's just say I agreed with them. Okay, and?
What do you mean, okay, and? That's the whole point. Again, it's like intentionally missing the point because she doesn't want to engage with the actual like criticism, or not even criticism, but with the actual like, hey, this is an actual problem. If you don't want to deal with people calling you or you feeling like you're catfishing or the people that you're dating feeling like they're ghosting you for no reason, hey, this is something that you can maybe change that will maybe help that situation out. To just act like I don't get it. I don't know why people are so like, come on, man. Like, You're a teacher, right? You're a teacher. You're probably pretty smart. There's no way you don't understand the criticism here.
I don't even think this is an interesting talking point. I don't think this is something worthwhile of my time to address. And it's really mind-blowing to me that people are still...
I mean, the obvious response there is like, if you don't think it's worth your time, you've done a lot of talking about it. If you think that it doesn't make any sense and it's not worth any of my time.
Still bringing it up. It's so weird to me, guys. It is so weird. I really don't get it. And the more I try to think about why it is, the more I come back to the idea that the majority of the criticism and hate that I receive online, I think can be traced back to misogyny and fat phobia, if I'm being perfectly honest.
There we go. It's the misogyny and the fat phobia. That's the real culprit here. That's the real issue here. Yeah, that's what it is.
And I think the fat phobia one is glaring in my mind so much more, because I think what's happening with a lot of my haters online is I think it's hard for them to reconcile how someone who looks like me, someone who has body fat, I think it's hard for them to reconcile how that person could be as confident as I am. I think it's really hard for...
I don't think it has to do with you being confident. I think, honestly, I see it a little bit more as delusion, if I'm being completely honest. But, you know, hey, that's just me. I think, and I think she mentions this later in the video, but I think it's more people realizing you're going on a ton of first dates and then nothing afterwards. Hey, what's the issue here? And then especially, it's like one thing for someone to just share their dating profile, but it's, or their dating life, but it's another thing for the way that she shares this and then basically lambasts anyone that she went on a date with that treats her not perfectly well, right? That rubs people the wrong way, and then people are going to start digging. Of course, they're going to be interested because there's date after date after date. Nothing seems to be moving forward. What's happening here? And then people start to look for signs, right? And this is one of them.
Them to understand and accept that someone who has body fat like me loves themselves, thinks they're beautiful, is very authentic online, gets a lot of dates, and the fact...
So she's authentic, loves herself. So then why not just post the most recent photos on your profile? I feel like that's such an easy thing. It's such an easy thing to do to stop all of this criticism. I just don't get it.
The fact that I haven't experienced success with those dates, meaning they haven't led to many additional dates or they haven't led to long-term relationships, that's led people to try and connect the dots. Like, they're trying to find an explanation for it. And rather than just having the explanation be that dating is shit right now, like it is for so many people. Sorry, there's an ambulance in the back. Rather than think that's an explanation, they have to think, ooh, what's wrong with her? And so then when people came across, and by came across, I mean actively sought out my dating profile for the sake of looking at it and judging it.
I understand, like, yeah, that's frustrating to you, but you actively are sharing all of these dates where no one's asking you to share this, right? You are sharing this, and then you are monetizing that stuff, and you are making a living off of, oh man, these dates are all terrible. All these men suck. Everyone's terrible. No one's good. No one's working out. Oh my God, everyone's terrible. So then people are like, well, what the heck is going on here? So they look into it. I feel like that's a very normal thing to happen.
They saw the way I looked in those photos and thought, ooh, that's it. That's it. She's trying to paint a picture that she's a skinny person, that she's a more stereotypically socially accepted definition of beauty, which she's not. And that's why she's getting so many dates, because she's misleading people, because she's catfishing people. And what's so mind-blowing about all of it is that, yes, I have photos on my dating profile that show me at what I consider to be my most attractive angles. And I'm usually wearing a full face of makeup, or I've done my hair, and I went out, or I went to an event, or whatever the case may be. And I think the big...
And you are thinner, right? Like, that's part of it as well. Like,
contrast there is when you look at that, like a very curated, hand-selected, subjective dating platform, and then you look at someone who's very public on TikTok like myself. TikTok is just, I mean, TikTok, there's like no rules. Like, contrary to popular belief, I've never used a filter on any of my TikTok videos or modified them like that in any way. And I have videos of me where I'm wearing no makeup, full face of makeup, hair in a messy bun, same t-shirt 5 days in a row, or completely dressed up to go out on a date or go to an event. I mean, you see all types of angles of me. And do you really think, though, that on my dating profile, I'm gonna put my camera below my chin and, like, show off my adorable double chin? Like,
no one is saying that. Like, no one is expecting that. Again, this is whenever there's arguments like this, it's like a surefire way to know someone's not being, in my opinion, like, being very forthright in their arguments. when they are using this argument that no one is saying. No, I don't think anyone's saying, you need to take a picture with your phone under your chin and take it. Like, no one is saying that. People are saying, hey, some of these photos are pretty old. You don't look like this at all. And again, if you want to do that, that's fine, right? But you're complaining online consistently about these dates aren't working out. Men ain't it, you know, and it's their problem. And oh my God, they all suck. So then people are like, oh, okay, well, let's look at why maybe that is. Oh, hey, here's a reason. Maybe if you were more forthright, more honest on this profile, you won't have to deal with those dates. You'll, like you said, you want those people to run for the hills. So they'll run for the hills earlier. You won't have to worry about them at all. And so maybe the dates that you end up getting will be more positive experiences of people that know what they're getting themselves into, and they're not shocked when they meet you, right? Like, that's what it seems like that you're putting out there. It's just, and again, it's just frustrating because there's no way she doesn't understand this, but it's like using these arguments that no one is saying to try and prove a point that no one is trying to say isn't true.
You really think that that's what I'm going to be posting on my dating profile? I'm not ashamed of my double chin. If I was, I would be holding my phone at a certain angle for every single TikTok video I ever posted. But the fact of the matter is, I have fat under my chin. And I'm not ashamed of that. But I'm also going to put photos on my dating profile that I feel really beautiful in. And I just, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm having to talk about this as much as I am right now. Like, I just don't care.
I mean, you don't have to talk about it. You're choosing to.
Like, I just don't care enough about this topic. And I know someone's going to say, like, oh, then why are you talking about it? It's because I think this is just a very interesting talking point, because
it's just so funny. Like, I don't care, but then obviously she's getting very upset. Like, clearly you care, and that's fine. But I don't know. Whatever.
What I've discovered is that the bigger my platform gets online, the more my perception, like the more I'm perceived by people, the way I'm perceived by people is becoming detached from who I truly am. And that's a really fascinating thing I've noticed. With each new video that goes viral, I receive astronomically more criticism and judgment and assumptions from people about who they are convinced that I am. And the bigger it's getting, and the more people that are throwing their opinions at me, the more who I truly am at my core is becoming completely detached from how I'm perceived online. And we could go down a rabbit hole of wondering why that is. All my haters would say that it's because I'm deceptive or a liar or a catfish or exploiting things for clout or doing things for attention. Like, all those opinions will exist. But I know who I truly am. My closest loved ones in my life know who I truly am. And they see the comments and they're appalled. Like, one of my best friends literally doesn't watch my TikToks because she can't handle the amount of negative attention I receive.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to get negative attention, but again, when there are multiple videos that you put up and then people are like, yo, this is really wrong. Like, this isn't cool. And then you delete it. Like, clearly some of the stuff you're putting online is not positive, putting you in a positive light. So you put this out there and then you're surprised when people have a negative reaction, and then you're like, and then now my loved ones can't even watch my TikToks. It's like, yeah, well, you don't put that out there then. And then you won't have to deal with it. I don't know, dude.
And I quite honestly don't blame her. I think that's a very healthy thing to do. And also, what brings me back to this whole thing about misogyny is that the moment I clap back at someone for a criticism that I think is not warranted or incorrect or invalid and undeserved. Oh, my cat and my dog are like playing but sort of fighting. Monty loves to go into the couch and like put his paws out when he sees the dogs or me walking by. And Bo gets mad. But anyways, I was saying the moment I clap back or retaliate in any sort of way that stands up for myself, I come across bitchy. I come across combative. I come across argumentative, and it's like, you can't win. The more I'm...
And the reason that one of the reasons I get so frustrated about a video like this is because I think there's a lot of dudes that are going to see that, right? And they're going to be, part of the manosphere, part of like the incel people. See, this is all women are like this. This is what all women are like. And so this is why you should not date women, or you should hate women. And no, I don't agree with that, right? I don't think most women are like this. I think a lot of women would see this and be like, come on, use your brain. Like, I think it's clear what the issue is here. And I don't understand why you are so hard trying to fight back and not actually engage with the actual criticism here, right? I think there's plenty of women that would do that. And so it's just, I get frustrated when I see this, because this just gives ammunition to those types of dudes that are going to say that stuff. And they're going to find this video and they're going to make videos about it. Those videos are going to get hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of views. And it's just going to make other dudes that are going down that pipeline start to believe it even more. It's very frustrating to me, because there are plenty of women that are they understand. They're like, I don't know. I just get very frustrated. I didn't think I was going to get so frustrated in this video. I apologize if it was a little over the top, but it's something that it kind of struck a nerve a little bit, I think. But I'm genuinely curious what other people think down in the comments section down below, like especially with the whole like catfish thing and posting photos. Like, I mean, I haven't been part of the online dating sphere in a while, but I feel like that's almost like a common courtesy. And even the person that would be claimed that they're catfishing, like, why would you want to put yourself in the position to feel like you're getting ghosted or stood up or all of those things, right? Like, why not try and make it the most positive experience for everyone involved? That's the way that I see it. But please let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. If you made it to the end of the video, dropping a like really helps. If you're not subscribed, obviously, please feel free to do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. One thing, this is the last video that will be filmed here. After this video, I will be moving. And so hopefully you guys enjoy the videos when I am living somewhere completely different. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.